Hello, Lagos. Good morning. If you're just joining, this is Mark Onoja from the Growth Room. I'm pretty much excited to have you join me today for the live section of the Growth Room. Today we're going to be talking about sales mastering. Now, one of the live stream of your business is funds, right? It's money, cash flow. And for you to be able to bring money into your business, there are basically two ways to ensure that you make more money in your business. It's either you cut costs or you make more money, right? You do sales. And making sales is more easier than cutting costs because of inflation. So today I will be talking about sales. I'll be doing the intro part, and 2 weeks time, of course, I'm going to do the concluding part. What is the growth room? So the growth room is the section or the segment where I basically share with you on how to start, grow, and scale your business. So today we're going to be learning about sales. So if you know any entrepreneur that needs this, you need to send this invite to them. And if you're tuned in, don't touch that dial for the next 30 minutes. Just stay where you are. I'll be back within 30 seconds and we're going to jump on learning about selling. Thank you. Welcome back. My name is Mark Onoja, and this is the Growth Room. So the Growth Room basically answers questions like, how do I scale my business? How do I create something that ensures that I get continuous cash flow? And how do I basically have a system in place that ensure that I can be able to make it sustainable and transfer wealth to my children? We answer those questions and more in the Growth Room. My name is Mark Onoja. I have over a decade experience. Let's put it 15 years experience in working with startup and small businesses, and I run a consulting firm with my dad called the Startup Place. So every other day, I basically help people to grow the business. And today we're going to be talking about selling, sales mastery. Now, when it comes to selling is a very important part of your business. Now, one of the things that usually kills startup and small businesses around the world, not only in Africa, is the word called cash flow. Now, not basically cash flows. Now, if you look at Africa, because of we have poor infrastructure in this part of the world, one of the things that basically kill businesses in this part of the world would just be lack of support from the government or lack of power, especially energy, or basically just the marketplace just playing its own tricks on you or maybe your village people. But one of the things that ensures that your business stays alive is to have good cash flow. So cash flow just talks about the velocity how money come in and leave your business. Now, if you really want money to come into your business very well, you need to learn how to sell. Basically, there are two ways you increase your wealth as a business person. It's either you save costs or you increase your revenue. Revenue is also called sales and it's also called income. Now, cutting costs has to do with you just ensuring that you reduce spending. And the word we find ourselves is right now is this. Cutting costs is very, very hard. You need to, it's very hard cutting costs. You will try. I'm not saying you can't cut costs. It's just like your fingernails. You have to trim them. But whether you like it or not, it's always going to come up because of inflation, right? Something can just happen. There can be a war somewhere. There can be shortage of something somewhere. So inflation always happens. So the next best thing you need to do to increase wealth and to increase your cash flow as a business person is that you need to increase your revenue. You need to bring in more money by selling your product and services. So today we're going to talk about selling, and sales is a very important part. Now, part of the growth room, if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. My name is Mark Onoja. Usually I give time where I give opportunities for people to call in to ask one or two questions. I will start doing that from like 10:46 to 11:46 to 11:47. We're now in Ghana, so we're in Nigeria, so we're GMT plus one. So, but right now, let's talk about sales. So, what is basically selling? Now, there is a lot of dictionary definition when it comes to the word selling: exchange of goods and services, between a seller and a buyer, transferring enthusiasm, getting people passionate about what you do, getting people to take from the wallet and basically get to pay you. But I would also define sales from two parts. Number one, sales has to do with exchange of value and delivering of value. So let me repeat myself. Anytime you hear the word sales, is number one, exchange of value. Number two, delivering value. So exchange of value talks about when you, as the business person, bring a value to the marketplace. Now, when we talk about value, value talks about anything that has worth, that can provide a form of solution and benefits to people, right? So that is what is called value. Anything that has worth that can provide some form of solution and benefit to people. and your value basically comes in form of product and services. So when you take your product and services to the marketplace and someone sees your product and services and discover that, oh, your product and services solves my problem, and the person pays you, that is exchange of value. Sales just happen. But guess what? The first part of selling happens. So selling is two parts, right? Sales is two parts. The first is the exchange of value between a seller and a buyer, between a business person and his or her customer. So that is the first part of selling. Now, the second part of selling, which is as important as the first part of selling, is the delivering of value, delivering on promise. So once I buy from you, you transfer money to me, the sales have not ended. Till you deliver on promise, that is when sales actually ends. So let me repeat myself. Selling has to do with two parts, or sales is two parts. First is the exchange of value, part one. Part two, which is as important as part one, is the delivering of value. So I bought weave on from you. So I saw your wig online and I discovered your wig online is fine. Or I saw your phone online, or I saw your wristwatch that you're trying to sell to me is fine, or I saw a car you're trying to sell is fine. When I pay for that is the first part of selling. When I take possession of what I paid for in the in the exact state to which I paid for it, right? Based on what we agreed on, based on that contractor agreement, that agreement that we have, that this is what I need in this quality and in this quantity. That is the next part of selling, which is very important. So we basically need to know this as business owner, that selling does not just only occur when people transfer money to you. You have to deliver on promise. And when it comes to that word deliver on promise, we're going to talk about that also too. It's a very, very important part of selling. Now, I usually used to give this definition. I think I'll save this for the next time I come online. So let me not give this story. But let me even talk about this story a bit. So I'm not a relationship expert. So my marriage will be 10 years this year. But I'm not a relationship expert. But something I just know a bit about relationship is this, that normally a lot of ladies normally complain that if a guy is trying to toast them, right, or trying to get them into a relationship or get them to get married, the guy sends them messages every morning, hello sunshine, good morning, that MTN advert, greets them every morning, send text message, say stuff, and he's just trying to woo her, takes her out and stuff. Once she says yes, all those things stop. And a lot of ladies usually complain that it's crazy. I have four sisters plus one. So a lot of ladies usually complain, including my wife. She's listening to me right now. They always complain that, you don't care about me again, you don't love me. And I think one guy, his wife took him to court, and she said that he doesn't used to tell me I don't love you again, that I love you and stuff like that. And he said I've not changed my mind. That's what he told the judge. And recently, a senior friend, she was telling me that she told her husband that the husband scammed her, because when they were dating, he was only sending her poem. He used to write poem for her, but right now poem has ended. He said he has married her. Why is he writing poem again? So, but the thing is this, right? I'm not a relationship expert, but the little thing I'll just say about humans is that the way God created men, it's not an excuse. We are project driven. We are like hunters, right? When we see something, we'll go after it. In fact, if you talk to a normal guy, the guy will tell you that on his wedding day, after she does say I do, they just, we are now man and wife. His mind have traveled somewhere. He's the lady that dances more on the wedding. The guy's mind have gone somewhere. It's not his fault. It's just that he's already thinking about the next project. We are project driven. But for the lady, when she says yes to you, it just started. So if you're a guy, you listen to me right now. This is a free tip for both the ladies and the guy. I just know that relationship stuff starts when the lady says yes to you or gets married to you. So we can put the same template when it comes to business. For we business people, when somebody says yes, because I'm part of a project, and when we're finishing the project yesterday, I was a little bit moody. We're finishing the first phase of the project, it's 5 phase. And I was already moody because I was already thinking, when is the next big project going to come from? Because I'm already thinking about the next one, right? But the customer is already getting used to us. He wants us to do more things for them, right? So for business people, we think as hunters, we just want to catch and move on. But for the customer, once they say yes to you, that is when the relationship starts, right? We're going to talk about that the next time I come on. So let's talk about the first part, which has to do with exchange of value, right? Which is the first part of selling. Then I could get to take questions. So if you just join, this is not a relationship talk. This is the growth room where I share with people on how to start, grow, and scale your business. I just use that relationship as a practical example as regards to selling. So let's talk about the first part, which has to do with exchange of value. And when it comes to exchanging of value, right, there are three things. The first one has to do with follow up. Then the second part has to do with answering objection, and the third part has to do with facilitating transaction. So if you want to sell very well, exchanging value, which is the first part of selling, has to do with three things. The first part has to do with the there's a follow-up. I just lost my thought. There's a follow-up, there's facilitating transaction, there's answering objection. So let's the first part, let's start with the word called answering objection. So once you want to sell to someone, the first thing that you need to learn how to do is to pitch, right? And to answer objection. So when it comes to pitch is just simple. It's getting to tell your customer or the person that wants to buy from you that their life is better off with your product and services than with the money in the pocket. Let me repeat myself. When you want to sell, the first part when it comes to that answering objections and talking to them is that you need to convince them that they are better off with your product and services than with the money in their pocket. So take for example, you want to go from point A to point B, right? Right now we don't disappear, but we will need to move from point A to point B, and you need to take a form of a transport. So if there's no transport available, you go for like the mini bus, is it Korope that they call it, or Keke Napep. You need to enter one, but you don't remember the face of the person, right? The driver, right? Because sometimes you guys insult yourself because you are better off with that services than with the money in the pocket, except you want to trek inside the sun or the rain. And Lagos sun is not funny, it's very hot outside. So why do you do that? Because you are better off with that services than with the money. So the first part is that you need to learn how to convince people that they are better off with their product, with your product and services than the money in their pockets. That is very, very important because everybody is selfish and self-centered. They basically think about themselves most part of the time. All right, so let's take some calls now. This is a live show where I take live questions, right? And the number to call is 09136